I think we're live.
We're live!
First to note, we did not mean to color coordinate matching shirts today, but it was bound to happen at one time or another.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that we've made it this far in and not doing that.
Well, I usually do because I have a couple that are different colors than ones you have, and I like that it mixes it up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it's almost the weekend. That means it's almost laundry day.
Right. And truly, like, how many... We have only a small variety of
and two of mine are this color.
shirts.
So we were going to match at some point.
At some point or another. Anyway, welcome back to Book Chats with Mostly Books. I'm Jody.
I'm Jen.
And tonight we are talking about Death Prefer Blondes by Caleb Roehrig. Yeah, you want to start us off with a synopsis?
Yeah, it's heists. It's drag queens. There is more to the book than that, but I really enjoyed
But that was definitely a selling point for both of us.
Yeah. So Margot Manning is a LA socialite by day, and then by night she's a cat burglar. So she and her friends pull off various heists that you would see on like white collar
Leverage.
Those kind of heists. They pull off a particularly big heist of Russian jewels, and then everything kind of starts to rain down on them. The person they stole from wants them back or wants vengeance somehow.
I think both.
Margot's dad is ill and doesn't seem to be getting any better. And then all parts of her life collide, and it all becomes a mess that she has to deal with.
As anyone should have to at age 17.
Yeah, she's 17.
And some of the guys are younger even. I mean, it's quite impressive what they're pulling off for their age. Okay, well, we'll get to that. Anyway, first off, what was your overall impression of the book?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah?
It is a lot of fun. In the sense that there's like how it just seems like like big elements, like there's heists, they are in drag during their heists, there's like all the like cloak and dagger of like burner cell phones and like anonymous drop-offs in public locations, so it's all very heisty. There's better words.
I enjoyed that.
But it's a lot of fun, and we like heist novels a lot, so we were excited to read one.
I also really ended up liking it. There were parts that I have a couple nitpicky things to quip about. But overall, I really liked it too. I thought it was fun. It was fun to read a heist story that was contemporary. Yeah. We often read the heists that are more fantastical in the sense that they're fantasy, not achievable. And I loved the group.
I did too.
I really think that was the best part of this, was the whole five.
Like the ensemble cast.
Yeah. So we should probably note that her crew consists of Axel and his brother Joaquin and Devon and Leaf, and they all dress in drag, all five of them, and it's very fun. They have, oh my gosh, their names are so great.
Yeah.
I so loved all their drag names. Those were fun.
Devon is their getaway driver. He's Dior Galore.
Mm-hmm.
Axel is like kind of Margot's right hand, and
has amazing aim with all their fancy equipment.
Yeah, and he's Liesel von Tramp.
That one's my favorite. So Leaf was Electroshock. Yeah. And he does a lot of their hacking and technical computer work. Mm-hmm. And Joaquin he's the newbie. Yeah. And what was his name? Oh, Anita. Oh no.
It is Anita something.
It's Anita something, yes, but it was very great too.
And he's Axel's younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
So that becomes a whole thing of what do you mean you enlisted my baby brother for a heist?
Without consulting me. Yeah, that was a big whoa. So before we get more into the characters, because we're going to end up, I think, spoiling a bunch if we go too far with the characters. What is it, Anita?
Stiff one,
yeah. I loved it.
Oh, and
she's Miss Anthropy.
Yeah, Misanthropy.
Misanthropy, yep. Which was clever. Shoot, I was going somewhere else with that before we
didn't want to get too far into the characters so we wouldn't spoil things.
So the thing that was really great about this book is you open it up right to a heist.
You're right in the middle of a heist.
I mean, it kicks off right on page 1. So that part was really cool. Like, you didn't have to wait around, I guess, for the heist.
Yeah.
Now, I will say my only, like, quip about this part is that it's written from each character's perspective. So you get a scene here, and then you cut to see what the other person was doing, which was cool, except sometimes I felt like it could get trimmed just a tiny bit.
It works. It felt like when you're watching a movie and you see a heist happening from different angles, like any of the Ocean's movies.
Mm-hmm.
So it felt very much like that, and you're seeing it, and it doesn't feel like you're getting the same information.
Yep.
With this one, it felt a little more like harder to get into. Because you're in a new setting, it's a new book, you have a bunch of new characters, and you're jumping around a lot.
You're jumping around through like 3 or 4 different characters. Yeah. I liked it more once we got it later on again.
Yeah, because then you're like settled in and you know who people are.
But that first bit, it was a little bit jarring. So you just have to get over that because it's really great after that. So just go with it and you'll be fine.
We keep saying things that it's jarring or we're jumping around a lot. And I just think of the characters like doing roundhouse kicks and acrobatics everywhere.
Right. Yeah, they were a pretty impressive force. I mean, between all of their like martial art skills and acrobatic training, ballet, I mean, these guys were pretty good. This is not your average teen.
They're very accomplished for being like
15 to 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a love-hate with the fact that they were all, it was all very perfect in the sense that they all came together with these very unique skills. And then they all had very, like, hard lives, so they all had justified reasons, I guess, for being cat thieves, which is a weird way of saying that they were justified in their thievery. But they were, but it became almost too perfectly matched.
Yeah.
So then again, you just have to get over that and just go with it, and it'll be really good.
It felt very like much larger than life.
Yes.
To me, and
I think that's a good way of putting it.
I want this book. I already talked about a movie, but I want it as like a movie or a TV show, but done in like animation, but stylized like a comic book.
I would really like a TV show.
Yeah.
If somebody could get on that. Because I would have liked to have seen more of the drag stuff. I thought that part was great. And I would have liked a little bit more. I mean, we get a lot of the boys' perspectives, but I would have liked even more from them. Because they had very interesting lives, and they were very interesting characters.
Yeah, you get attached to them all pretty quickly.
And I really want to know how some of it worked out for the characters.
Yeah.
Like, I was a little concerned for Leaf.
Yeah, that was...
family life.
That was a whole thing. That could be its own whole book.
That could be its whole book. Well, I'm really hoping kind of for a sequel, too. The way this ended is very nicely set up for a sequel.
Yeah, but it could, like, set up as a sequel in the future, but it could just stay there and you just kind of infer what's going to happen for the rest of their lives. So it could go either way, but please let it go one particular way and give us more books.
Thank you, right? Yes, more books. Okay, anything you want to talk about before we start spoiling everything for the world?
Be warned, it is a white hardbound.
Yeah, you know how we feel about white hardbounds.
They make me anxious. There might even be fingerprints. I have tried not to look since I was reading it, because I'm like, if I don't look, they're not there.
I totally understand that. I do that too. I'm like, just quickly set it aside. It'll be fine.
So it is a white hardbound, but... You know, don't let that stop you. It didn't stop me.
Definitely don't let that stop you. Wear gloves. It'll be fine.
People have them these days.
Yes, that's true. See, it's fine. It's totally great. Okay. Should we just dive in and say spoilers? Or do you... Okay. Spoilers from here. We apologize, but we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you think about... Well, do we just want to jump right to the
Well, it has to be connects to last week.
Oh, I love it. Let's start with that.
This is another book where I became more invested after the dad died.
Yeah, so the dad dies.
Yeah.
Mysteriously.
Margot's dad dies because we learned pretty early in the book that he's very ill and deteriorating, and doctors can't find like what caused it what caused his illness, and it's like pretty clear he's being poisoned.
I see. Immediate thought was, oh, he's being poisoned. I mean, he's the head of a big, huge like
company
that does
like
a lot of
company.
high tech. Yeah. So it's already like, oh, you're already kind of in an interesting spot. So yeah, and that means where Margot got all of her equipment for the, for the heist. I mean, it was a good thing she's well connected, in not a mob way.
No, there is a mob, but they're bad.
Yeah, they're bad. I enjoyed that. So anyway, I agree. The second half of the book really picks up. And I will also say the second half of the book, it felt very different from the first half because it's very much like very Margot centered. Yeah. Which was good because I feel like then we got even more invested in her like personal
life. Well,
and her vendetta, I guess, on getting to the bottom of this. So that, I liked that. But I also liked that then we still got some of the boys' backgrounds too from that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I agree. It picked up way better.
Yeah, and it was more, and it could work like either way. It's like we wanted almost not a different book, but like maybe if it was like more of the boys and the side characters had like more of their plot lines were in the second half, or like more of Margot was in the first half, or they were just more balanced.
More balanced. Yeah. I think that would have been really nice because I think that would have helped the pacing of the first half, which sometimes sluggish isn't the right word because everything was happening. Yeah. But I think it would have moved it better.
Because like you're in the first heist and it'd be like, oh, Joaquin just crawled through an air vent, and then we take like a little bit of a detour into Joaquin's backstory. Yeah. And then we get back to the action. Yep. So it's like...
And they did that with each one. Yeah. So yeah, it was paced weird. Okay, that's fair. I can say that.
Yeah, it felt like we were... It's like, here's a lot of things you need to know to like... Well, to know these characters. But it all felt a little front-loaded. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so then the second half really focused on Margot. I mean, we do come back to the boys, but it's way more with her, which I think it was supposed to be more about her.
She's on our cover.
She's on our cover. Yes. Okay. Anything else on that comment before we jump straight to maybe what happened to her dad? Or do we want to talk about the Russian thing first? Do we need to talk about that before we talk about the other thing?
What's the other thing?
Well, I just didn't know if we needed to talk about how... Okay, we're just going to talk about it.
Should we talk about what order it happens in the plot?
Yeah.
Okay, so Russian jewel heist first.
Mm-hmm, that's where I was headed. Okay. Yep, exactly. I was just going to make you guess later. No.
Is this a test?
Yeah.
Am I being tested?
No. So anyway, they have... The second heist in the book is they break into this castle. Literally... They shipped over bricks from England to build a castle was it in Malibu or
it's
somewhere in
Topanga Canyon?
In Topanga Canyon.
I don't know, somewhere in LA.
We are not versed with LA, clearly. Anyway, so it's a castle and they break into it to steal the Russians' jewels. Yeah. She has a vendetta with the daughter. They kind of had an on-again, off-again relationship. It kind of went really, really sour. So she's like, this is great. Let's go steal her jewels.
Yeah, let's steal my ex's jewels. That's fine.
Right. And we need the money, and you can make a lot of money off of jewels, which somehow surprised them.
Yeah. Because they were stealing a lot of artwork. And then Margot's fence, they had some diamonds on one of their jobs. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, oh, yeah, we got a bunch of money for these. Because they're easy to carry, they're worth a lot of money, and you can, like, recut them and fence them easily. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, okay.
We've been stealing the wrong things.
But this was supposed to be, like, their last heist. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I watched 6 seasons of White Collar, but there is no final score.
Well, and how many oceans are there, So, yeah, I agree. There's no final score.
So that's what I kept thinking when they're like, this is our last job, the last one we need to do. And I'm like, no, it's not. Mm-hmm. No, it's not.
So, yeah, they definitely do that, and then kind of it becomes like they get found out pretty quickly, more or less. Yeah. Or at least Margot gets found out pretty quickly. And they start putting pressure on her fence, which puts pressure onto her. And then, to make things worse, the guy that's been killing her dad slowly through poison
Yep.
is the dude taking over of the whole company.
Yeah.
Margot's whole company. Shocking.
But also he's connected to this jewel heist because...
there's a lot here, yeah.
Yeah. Because the guy they're stealing from is... Was he an arms dealer? Or he's like
He's like the middleman to the arms dealer of the small country that is now going to war.
Yeah. Okay, so he runs a private security firm, so it doesn't look weird if he is trafficking weapons. And then the guy...
That's the Russian guy.
That's the Russian guy. And then the guy who's going to take over... They have names. Addison, who is poisoned her dad and is taking over the company, wants to get weapons from Arkady, the Russian private security guy, to give to the rebels in Malawi and armed child soldiers, so then he can keep control of a mine and keep profits.
Yeah, it got really messy.
Yeah, but you find all that information out in like one chapter, so you go just from like Margot being sad and not really suspicious of anything to like, oh my god.
Right, this is so much bigger than we thought this was.
Yeah.
And then it got real.
Yeah, and she finds all this out from like a former intelligence operative.
See, I know, right? Again, everything just really aligns in this book, which was fun. Like,
yeah.
I kind of feel like sometimes that has to happen in a heist, but yeah.
It went very thriller.
Yeah.
Like, much like a
Oh,
thriller.
yeah, yeah. Definitely agree with that. And the pacing is like that, too.
Mm-hmm.
So needless to say, Addison killed her dad. The Russian mafia is after her, so it all got really real. And then she runs to Venice.
Yeah.
To stay with her horrible mother.
Yeah, the Venice interlude was interesting, because I did enjoy it, because I like when books have Venice in it, because I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
But it felt like she is grieving very much.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense, like, why she runs away to Venice.
But on the head on her, like, the bounty on her head encouraged her to leave, I think, too, on top of the grief, yeah.
Yeah, and then it just felt... Because then there's a time jump. We find out, like, a month after she's already been there that she's been there and has been living in whatever way she's been living. And then we pick right back up. Mm-hmm. There's, like, assassins out for her, and she's running through St. Mark's Plaza. Or Piazza. And then she's like, okay, I have to go back.
This isn't going to end. I need to end this. Mm-hmm. And she does.
Yeah.
I mean, it got a little hairy at the end, but everybody that we love survived. The heist was cool. She takes down Addison, takes back her company.
Literally takes him down.
Literally through an elevator shaft. That was impressive. She's a pretty badass girl.
Yeah.
I had another question. Oh my goodness, I totally spaced on it though.
We could talk about Dallas.
That's what it was. That's exactly where I was going. Thank you for reading my mind. What did you think of Dallas?
He's cute and he's sweet and he's just like, he's really nice throughout the plot, and like, well, all the characters are nice, but is he our token straight?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
He's our token straight.
Well, I guess as far as we know. I mean, I don't know if he could be bi. I guess I don't know that.
I don't know either.
He didn't tell us one way or the other. But I'd say probably safe to say token straight.
Yeah. And he's just like really nice, and then he gets in on the heist.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as we figured out he's really into like extreme sports and a bit of an adrenaline junkie, I'm like, okay, well, you're going to come back later and
we
put
just
those
had
skills
to have
use.
6 members on this one.
It's always 6.
Well, it was 5 before. Well, first it was 4, and then we needed Joaquin to be our 5th, and then we needed Dallas.
6 and 6 of Crows.
Oh, it was 6 and 6 of Crows. Did you really think they actually, aside from Dallas being needed to set up her, like, the beginning of the heist, what else he just hung out with her. Mm-hmm. Did he do a lot otherwise?
His friend had the helicopter.
Thank you. I wondered where she got the helicopter. I appreciate you saying that, because I did not connect. That makes because he was was at the bridge.
Yeah.
Duh.
Well, because
oh gosh,
remember he's always like, oh yeah, I like jumping out of planes.
Yeah. Thank you. That was totally what it was. Okay, so she did need him. I was a little nervous at the end because I also love Dallas. But at the end he gets kicked. He gets shot. and goes from Addison and goes flying against the wall and
It just lays there.
And then Margot beats Addison up really greatly. That doesn't really work there, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then the next scene, we kind of see her in the helicopter, and she says that the 4 sets of arms wrap around her, which were the rest of her crew. And all along, I'm going, "Where's Dallas? Where's Dallas? Oh my gosh, she didn't leave Dallas, did she?" So we got to the end, and Dallas was fine.
Yeah.
She drug him up there, but you don't know that till like right at the end. I was very concerned.
Yeah, because it's just like it just ends. Because usually you see them like get away cleanly or like mostly cleanly from their heist, but this one's just like they haven't done the extraction yet.
Yeah, I was very nervous about him. And he was the newbie, and he didn't have, I mean, he has training, but it's a different kind of training. He doesn't have all the martial arts. I don't know. I was worried. It was fine, but I was worried.
Yeah, but even then, like, after we see that he's alive, we get a bit of Margot, like, narrating, like, "Oh, yeah, I gave him training wheels. I made him wear a bulletproof vest."
Which she does mention, and he does not want to do it. Earlier in the...
Yeah.
She's like, "But you have to do it. This is a variable, and I don't do variables."
Yeah.
So we knew something was up. I didn't know
what it
didn't get it.
was.
I didn't get the bulletproof vest until she flat out told me.
Yeah, at first I thought it was gonna be he had to wear drag too, so they'd all match.
Me too.
In their so they'd all be disguised the same way. Mm-hmm. But then when we got to the others that were in like not their brightly colored wigs and just in like normal clothes, just office workers. Yeah, and then I was like, okay, wait, that's not it. So what did you give him?
Right. I did the same thing. Did you love how excited Devon was that they could finally do heels?
Yeah. He's like, what?
She is a very strict crew leader.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they were not allowed to wear heels otherwise.
What did he call them? The boots that she made them wear?
What did he call them?
Because he was very upset about it.
He did not like the boots.
No, I remember in the beginning she tried to take away their eyelashes.
Oh, yeah, that was a thing. That did not go well.
Wait, so can we talk about Georgia?
Yes, I loved Georgia.
Georgia.
I really loved that, even though, she had her addiction issues, I loved that she got help in the end. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, the end seemed very, very warm and fuzzy. Everyone seemed to be moving on to better things.
Yeah, but I like that Georgia's addiction wasn't then drawn out and that she dies and then that like motivates Devon or in some way or like motivates all of them.
I loved his and Georgia's relationship.
It's so sweet.
It was wonderful. They both basically save each other. So yeah, Georgia is the drag mom who takes in Devon and has him join her performance. Mm-hmm. Tuck, marry, kill was their drag performance.
Yeah,
their
it's like their
group,
show.
Their show, yeah. So that was really great, and he really needed someone to take him in at that point because he had a tough time. He was on the streets.
Yeah, they all had tough lives in one way or another. Like Devon was homeless for a while. Leaf grew up in a very conservative town. That
was so sad for Devon when his dad. I mean, I loved his coming out, mm-hmm. and his dad was like, "You need your mom's help for that makeup. I'll show you the cars, but you need mom for that." I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah.
But then he died, and that was really sad.
Yeah.
Did his mom die too?
Well, his mom was like...
Grief?
Yeah, grief.
And then they sent him to like a relative to live, which didn't go well. And then he ended up on the streets.
Something like that.
Yeah. And then leaves, like you were saying... Well, I'll let you just say it.
From a very conservative, very small town, and he even gets and then he gets into this dance school or art school, and he's studying ballet, and he's very good at it. And his mom calls him and is like, "Oh, you need to come home. Pastor whoever says you're leading a life of sin."
Right. It was so sad that, yeah.
Or like, and we're not paying the rest of your tuition. So they were. So then he's like, "Oh gosh, we have to do this jewel heist now." Mm-hmm. And then Axel and Joaquin's dad was arrested for various white-collar crimes.
Yeah, embezzling,
money laundering, whatever. So that kind of ruined their lives because they lost everything, and then they became social pariahs as well.
And their mom wasn't doing well.
Yeah, their mom is ill. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's all very dire.
I mean, they all had, like I said, really realistic, upsetting backgrounds, mm-hmm. which all makes sense. I'm glad they all came together, but it was very, like, the stars aligned.
Yeah, they did. It's
in that sense.
yeah.
But I'm glad they all found each other too. Do you want to talk about all the relationships?
Oh my gosh. There's so many. Yeah, so it's Axel and Davin, who had like been like an on again, off again
Did you say Davin? I said Devon.
Devon. Is it? I don't know. Is it?
I don't know either. I just
Dior Galore.
Yeah, let's go with that. Okay.
So it's those two, and they're like on again, off again, and they're like kind of together by the end of it, I guess.
I think by the end they're doing that whole we're not putting labels on this, but we're
dating.
seeing each other.
Yeah, we're not gonna label it, but we're dating.
Yeah, totally what it was.
And then Leaf and Joaquin are together, and they're really cute.
They are so cute.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I enjoyed that. Margot was like, oh no, you don't get to be judgy on this Axel. Because he didn't necessarily initially approve of Leaf because it's his little brother. I don't think he was going to approve of anyone.
No.
And once she called him out, he was like, you're right. So I thought that was adorable.
Yeah, they're very, like, Axel and Margot are really close.
Yeah, in a sibling way. It's like, well, they're BFFs.
Yeah, and then they all like move into the Manning mansion together. Wait, we're getting off topic. And then the other relationship is Margot and Dallas, who were like friends when they were kids. They were small kids, and then they didn't see each other for 10 years.
I've seen you naked. Was that what Dallas's like opening line to her was?
No, that's what. Isn't that how she describes him to Axel? Because Axel's like, "Who is that cute guy?"
But he says it to her too when they first
maybe.
reconnect as they're adults. I mean, they saw very small children. It was not inappropriate. It was like, you know, when you're young and running around the house.
Yeah,
it's not how I would.
He makes it sound salacious, but it's not.
Yeah, exactly. Which was the intent. But so I liked all the relationships. But I wondered. I will say I was kind of like, okay, nobody can break up because the group will get messed up.
Yeah, I was worried about that happening. I'm like, oh no, but it's. Like,
we don't see that.
Yeah, but the family plots and like the side plots aren't the ones that are going to stress you out. Like those are like reaffirming and soft and wholesome, and it's just like the main heist plot that's going to stress you out. Yep. So I appreciated that we just get softness in like all the domestic scenes.
And I loved the found family aspect of this one. Yeah, they're just great.
Yeah, it's even like explicitly said. It's like, oh, and it has all their drag names. Like, we're a family. Yep. And it's like, yes, you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed all of that. There's something else I was going to say about Dallas and Margot. Oh, I liked the dibs part. So when all the guys meet Dallas, was it Devon that first says dibs? Maybe
I don't remember but which like one. Dallas walks in when they're planning the last heist, and they're just like. Dibs.
Margot's like, I'm sorry you can't call dibs on humans, but I saw him first. That was the best.
It was funny.
Called him out and then claimed it still. Yeah, so I think overall I would definitely read more of Caleb's books. I've actually had White Rabbit, which is one of his earlier works, on my to-be-read pile forever. So now I should probably go read that. And then I looked at some of the upcoming ones look really good too. As a side note.
It Fell the Dark.
Yeah, I think that was the one, yeah.
Yeah, and since
that was the one.
I could try vampires again.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, we're getting back into that. So, yeah, I would definitely recommend this, especially for anybody who likes a heist or a good thriller novel even. Especially like a YA thriller, obviously, novel.
It's full of queer characters.
I know, so much. I love the drag queens.
Me too.
I would have liked a lot more of that.
we see like a little bit of it. It's like this book is for almost 450 pages, which I didn't realize how long it was. And there's so much in it. Yeah. There's so much that happens. So it's like I see like why there are parts where I'm like, oh, I wanted more of this and more of that. Yeah. But I don't know like where there would have been space for that.
And in another book. We would again like more books. Because there's a lot that could happen with the other characters. A lot of spinoffs could be fun.
And just how it ends.
In the end.
I'd also take like bits of their past heists. Like I want to see their first one.
Yeah, with Axel and Margot just breaking into houses.
No, their first one where they try to... The real first one where they try to like be official about it and see like what went wrong and how they had to stumble through it and
how they've gotten so. I mean, they're a well-oiled machine at this stage.
They're like very good.
Yeah, I would have liked that would have been fun. And I would have liked to seen a little bit more of Margot's like party side this mad Margot tabloidness of her. Just to see what that would have been like too. You don't really see it. You just hear about that.
Yeah, you kind of like see it when they like Axel asks her to go to a party because his former best friend is there before his dad got arrested.
Yep.
So, and like you kind of see Margot like working her persona or working the name. Yeah, but you don't see a lot of it. You just get people telling her like, "Oh, you throw your name around." It's like, well, we'll take your word for it.
I see. Does she? Yeah. we didn't see a lot of it. I mean, she did in one other, but that was when she was like getting into her dad's building. I guess she kind of like sweet talked the guard.
Yeah, but it seemed like the guard had like known her for
I see,
years.
but I'm sure that she grew up in that building more
Pretty
or less,
much,
so
yeah.
that wasn't much. Yeah. So you liked? You'd read more?
Yeah, I definitely like it once, like as I got into it, because I got more invested with the characters and I got used to the writing style.
Yeah,
and that helped a lot.
Yeah, so definitely, if you initially picked this up and maybe weren't so into it, I'd say keep going a little bit further, because it gets really good, and you just have to get used to the writing style, and then you're gonna really like it.
Yeah. Is it similar to anything else you've ever read?
No, I don't think it is. Could you come up with anything?
Well, I thought it's kind of like the Gilded Wolves, and it has like warm friendship moments, and it's also a heist with warm friendship moments. So it's like there's that, but Gilded Wolves is not contemporary and it's fantasy.
Yeah.
So those are like very different, and the writing style is also very different.
Yeah.
But yeah, warm friendship feels.
Yeah, definitely that. No, I can't think of anything that's like similar. How funny.
Yeah.
I'll have to ponder that more. But it was good. Did you have a favorite character?
I really like Devon.
I like Devon too. I think mine might have been Leaf, but I wanted more of his ballet.
Yeah, I did too.
And then I wanted to go watch Center Stage, which dates me, but I totally was like, I kind of want to go watch that.
Or I kind of want to, or like, I like Dallas. I liked all of them, really. There wasn't like a character's point of view where I was like, because you know those ones, maybe in that giant fantasy novel that everyone's read and seen the show of, it has certain characters' point of view that you're like, I just do not care. Let's go back to someone else. I didn't have that with this one. So I really enjoyed all of them.
Me too. I know it'd be hard to really, really pick a favorite because they all have great qualities.
I'm really bad at picking favorites too.
That's okay. Maybe that's a good thing. Any last thoughts before we talk about next week?
It's a good read for Pride Month.
Yeah.
But we should read queer books
all year round.
Yeah, and by queer authors all year round. So, which we do anyway, but we're gonna do it more.
But we're doing it anyway this month, extra.
Yeah.
All right, what are we gonna read next week?
We're reading a little book. We're reading Once Ghosted, Twice Shy by Alyssa Cole. And what genre is this one?
I would say this is romance.
Yeah.
Like a capital.
No.
Not a capital. A lowercase r. I had to think about that. It's not a romantic.
It's not.
But it is a romance with romantic elements.
Yeah, and not YA.
No. So this is a novella in her Reluctant Royal series. You can read any of those as a standalone, but it's one of those fun series where you read one and meet characters and then they show up in their own book, which I love books like that. I've read an Alyssa Cole, so I'm really excited for this because I really liked her. One of the other ones I read.
Which one did you read?
I read is it Duke by Default, I think?
Yeah.
Duke by
The blue
Default.
one?
And that was really fun. It's not your mama's romance, which I enjoy. It's got a lot of cussing and sass, I guess. But I liked it. So I'm excited for this. It's a novella, so we should also note that. So it'll be good.
I'm excited. I've read 2 like officially romance novels. And like the jury's kind of split.
Yeah, you're really out yet on that.
Because one I was like, oh my god, I love this. And one I was like, yeah, okay. So I'm interested to like read more of them.
Not to pressure, but I think you'll like this.
I think I will too, because you've told me that before about Alyssa Cole's books.
She just has fun writing.
Yeah.
And her characters are they're just fun. And they get into situations that you're like, oh my. So, yeah. definitely tune in next Friday for that. If you want copies, you can always call us at Mostly Books or order them on our website. If you don't want spoilers, you can read ahead then.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.